Pokemon's Dark type was introduced in Generation 2 to be a counter to Psychic types. This is because in Generation 1, Psychic types were incredibly overpowered, having only Bug as a weakness, resisting itself, and being immune to Ghost. Dark type was designed to have its attacks be super effective on Psychic type Pokemon, and Dark type Pokemon were made immune to Psychic. Alongside being good for fighting Psychic, Dark type attacks were also super effective on Ghost. Dark type attacks were resisted by other Dark types as well as the Steel type, another new type in Generation 2. Defensively, Dark type is immune to Psychic, as I said before, but not immune to any other type. Dark types are weak against fighting attacks as well as Bug attacks. Dark types resisted other Dark types as well as Ghost attacks. These type matchups that Generation 2 introduced remained until the introduction of the Fairy type in Generation 6, which we'll get to soon. Generation 2 introduced 6 Dark-type Pokemon. Only one is a pure Dark-type Pokemon, Umbreon, a new evolution of Eevee. 4 more Pokemon are primarily Dark-type, but also possessing a secondary type, and these are Murkrow, Houndour, Houndoom, and Sneasel. Finally, the pseudo-legendary Pokemon Tyranitar is the last Dark-type Pokemon added, having Dark-type as its secondary type as well as Rock as its primary type. With the introduction of the Dark type, the normal type move Bite, with a power of 60, became Dark type. 5 additional moves were added as well. Beat Up is an interesting move where each Pokemon in your party gets to attack. The more Pokemon you have, the more damage it will do. However, while it is a Dark type move, Beat Up is a typeless attack. The next move added, Crunch, may be seen as a more advanced form of Bite. Crunch has a power of 80, and may also lower the target's defense stat. Feint Attack can never miss, hitting with 60 power. Pursuit has a power of 40, but if the target is switching out, it will be doubled. The last Dark-type move added in Generation 2 is Thief. Alongside doing damage with a respectable 60 power, Thief will allow the user to steal the held item from the target Pokemon. All Dark-type moves in Generation 2 are special and have an accuracy of 100%. Generation 2 included one Dark-type specialist, the Elite Four member Karen. Karen is the final member of the Elite Four and uses 5 Pokemon, 3 of which, Umbreon, Murkrow, and Houndoom, are Dark-type. She also has a Gengar and a Vileplume. Generation 3 added 10 new Dark-type Pokemon. Poochyena, Mightyena, and Absol were added as pure Dark-type Pokemon, while Sableye was added with Dark as a primary type and Ghost as a secondary type. 6 Pokemon were added with Dark type as a secondary type: Nuzleaf, Shiftry, Carvanha, Sharpedo, Cacturne, and Crawdaunt. Generation 3 introduced the first Dark-type status moves, adding 6. Fake Tears harshly lowers the target's special defense stat, an incredibly helpful move to use when you are planning on hitting the target with a Dark-type attack next. Flatter confuses the target, but also boosts their special attack stat. Memento actually makes you, the user, faint, but it harshly lowers the target's attack and special attack stats. Snatch allows the user to steal the effects of any attempts to use a healing or stat-changing move. Taunt forces the target to only use attacking moves for 3 turns. Torment makes the target incapable of using the same move twice in a row. Generation 3 also added one Dark-type attacking move, Knockoff. This attack has a power of 65. If the target is holding an item, this move will do more damage and render the item unusable for the remainder of the battle. In Generation 3, all Dark-type moves added are special and have an accuracy of 100%. All Dark-type moves from Generation 2 remain special as well. Like Generation 2, Generation 3 has one Dark-type specialist in the Elite Four, Sydney. Sydney is the first Elite Four member encountered, and has 5 Pokemon. In Ruby and Sapphire, these are Mightyena, Shiftry, Cacturne, Sharpedo, and Absol. In Emerald, he replaces Sharpedo with a Crawdaunt. Generation 4 introduced 7 new Dark-type Pokemon. Generation 4 is notable for introducing the first Dark-type mythical Pokemon, Darkrai, which is the only pure Dark-type added. It's worth noting that at the time, outside of Japan, mythical Pokemon were not yet considered a distinct group from legendary Pokemon. So you could say Darkrai is the first Dark-type Pokemon to be considered a legendary Pokemon. For dual types, Honchkrow was added as an evolution of Murkrow, and like Murkrow, it has a secondary type of Flying. Similarly, Weavile was added as an evolution for Sneasel, and has a secondary type of Ice. Stunky, its evolutions, Skuntank, and Drapion were added as well, all 3 possessing Poison as their primary type. Finally, the Ghost and Dark-type Pokemon Spiritomb was added this generation. Arceus was added in this generation, and while it is a normal type, Arceus can change into a dark type form, or really any type form, when given the appropriate plate to hold because of its ability multi-type. Generation 4 added 11 new dark type moves. Gen 4 notably had a big change known as the physical special split. In short, damage category was determined by type in Gen 1 through 3, but now can be assigned to individual moves disregarding type. All attacking moves added in Gen 2 and 3, which are special moves, became physical moves. Generation 4 adds 6 new physical attacking moves. Assurance, with a power of 60, will do double damage if the target has already taken some damage in the same turn. Fling is an attack that requires a held item to use, because the held item will be thrown at the opponent. The item determines the damage and is consumed in the process. Night Slash has a heightened chance of landing a critical hit and has a power of 70. Payback has 50 power, but if the user moves after the target, it will double. Punishment will do more damage the more the target has powered up with stat changes. Sucker Punch has a power of 70 and attacks first, but will fail if the opponent is not readying an attack. Gen 4 also adds a new special attacking move, Dark Pulse, which has a power of 80 and may make the target flinch. Gen 4 adds 4 new Dark type status moves. Dark Void puts all adjacent targets to sleep and has an accuracy of 50. Embargo prevents the target from using its held item for 5 moves and also prevents the trainer from using any item on it. Nasty Plot sharply boosts the user's special attack stat. Finally, Switcheroo switches held items with the opponent. All of these moves, except Dark Void, have an accuracy of 100%. Generation 4 does not have a Dark type specialist. Generation 5 adds an astonishing 16 Dark-type Pokémon. This includes the 4 pure Dark-type Pokémon, Purloin, Liepard, Zora, and Zoroark. Scraggy and its evolution Scrafty have a secondary fighting type. Pawniard and its evolution Bisharp have a secondary steel type. Vullaby and its evolution Mandibuzz have a secondary flying type, while Dano, its evolution Zrelius, and its evolution, the pseudo-legendary Hydreigon, have Dragon as a secondary type. Sandile, Krokorok, and Crocodile are all primarily ground type with a secondary dark type. Generation 5 only adds 5 dark type moves. 2 are status moves, Hone Claws and Quash. Hone Claws boosts the user's accuracy and attack stat, while Quash, with an accuracy of 100%, forces the target to go last. 3 attacking moves are added, with only one being physical, Foul Play. This move has a power of 95 and an accuracy of 100 and will inflict greater damage the higher the target's attack stat is. The other 2 new attacking moves are both special attacks and both have only 95% accuracy. Snarl has 55 power and lowers the special attack stat of the target. Night Daze with 85 power may also lower the target's accuracy. Like Generation 2 and Generation 3, Generation 5 has a Dark type specialist in the Elite Four. Grimsley has a team consisting of a Scrafty, a Crocodile, a Liepard, and a Bisharp in both Black and White and their sequels. If you are playing Black 2 or White 2 on Challenge mode, Grimsley will also have an Absol. You also could consider Bryson to be a Dark type specialist as well. While he is normally the gym leader of Isura City, specializing in Ice types, his character Bryson Man specializes in Dark types. When encountered in Pokestar Studios, he will use a Pawniard, a Vullaby, Honchkrow, Scrafty, Zoroark, and Mandibuzz, which are all Dark types. He will also battle as himself, and he possesses the Dark and Psychic type. Generation 6 added the Fairy type, which had implications for the Dark type. Fairy type moves were made to be super effective on Dark type Pokemon, while Fairy type Pokemon were made to resist Dark type attacks. Additionally, Steel type Pokemon no longer resist Dark type attacks. Generation 6 adds only 6 new Dark type Pokemon, none of them being pure Dark types. If you don't count Darkrai, then Generation 6 adds the first Dark type legendary Pokemon, Yveltal, which has a secondary flying type. Other primary Dark types include Inkay and Malamar, which have a secondary Psychic type. Greninja, which also has a primary type of water, is notable for being the first starter evolution to be Dark type, and Pangoro has a primary type of fighting. Hoopa, a mythical Pokemon, is normally Psychic and Ghost type. However, when you use the Prison Bottle, Hoopa transforms into its Unbound form and is now Psychic and Dark. Generation 6 also introduced Mega Evolution. Absol, Houndoom, Sableye, Tyranitar, and Sharpedo are Pokemon that were already Dark type and can Mega Evolve, but Gyarados will drop its Flying type and replace it with the Dark type when it Mega Evolves. Only 3 Dark-type moves were added in Generation 6. Hyperspace Fury is the only attacking move with a power of 100. This move ignores Protect and Detect and lowers the user's defense stat. Parting Shot and Topsy-Turvy are both status moves. Parting Shot lowers the target's attack and special attack stat, then switches out. Topsy-Turvy flips all stat changes affecting the target. Generation 6 has no Dark-type specialists. Generation 7 adds only 2 new original Dark-type Pokemon, and like Generation 6, none of them are pure Dark-type. These 2 new original Pokemon are Incineroar, which has a primary type of Fire, and the Ultra Beast Guzzlord, which has a secondary type of Dragon. However, Generation 7 also adds regional forms. Alolan Rattata and Raticate are both Dark types with a secondary normal type. Alolan Meowth and Persian are pure Dark type, and Alolan Grimer and Muck are both primary Poison type with a secondary Dark type. Generation 7 adds 7 new Dark-type moves, 2 of which, Black Hole Eclipse and Malicious Moonsault, are Z moves, with Malicious Moonsault being exclusive to Incineroar. Batty Bad has 80 power, 95% accuracy, a terrible name, and is a special move that also weakens the opponent's physical moves. It can only be learned by the partner Eevee in Let's Go Eevee. The remaining 4 attacks are all physical and have an accuracy of 100%. Brutal Swing has 60 power. Darkest Lariat has 85 power and ignores all stat changes. Power Trip will do an increased amount of power depending on the user's stat changes, and Throat Chop prevents the target from using sound-based moves for 2 turns. Generation 7 does not have gyms, but instead has island challenges. On Ula Ula Island, you will need to defeat the island's kahuna, Nanu, who is a Dark-type specialist. Nanu has a Sableye, Krokorok, and Persian. Generation 8 adds 10 new original Dark-type Pokemon, as well as 5 new Dark-type forms of older Pokemon. The 2 new pure Dark-type Pokemon in this generation are Nickit and its evolution Thievul. For new Pokemon with the primary type of Dark, we got Impidimp, its evolution Morgrem, and its evolution Grimmsnarl, all Dark Fairy type. The mythical Pokemon Zarude, with a secondary type of Grass, was also introduced. For Pokemon with a secondary type of Dark, we got Morpeko, an electric and dark type Pokemon, and Urshifu, a fighting type Pokemon. Only Urshifu's single strike style form has a secondary dark type. Urshifu's other form, Rapid Strike style, has water as its secondary type instead. For regional forms, Galarian Moltres was introduced, being dark flying. Zigzagoon and Lanoon also got new Galarian forms, both being dark normal. In Pokemon Legends Arceus, taking place in an older version of Sinnoh known as Hisui, we got the Hisuian forms of Quillfish and Samurott, with Quillfish being dark poison and Samurott being water dark. 2 new Pokemon that I haven't mentioned yet are the dark normal type Obstagoon and dark poison type Overqwil, both of which are brand new Pokemon in Generation 8. However, they only evolve from regional forms of older Pokemon, Obstagoon evolving from Galarian Lanoon, and Overqwil evolving from Hisuian Quillfish. 10 new Dark-type moves were introduced in Generation 8. Only one of these moves, Obstruct, is a status move. This move, with 100% accuracy, enables the user to protect itself from all attacks. If it is used in succession, its chance of failing increases. If it blocks an attack that would make contact, the opponent's defense will be lowered by 2 stages. Obstruct is the signature move of Obstagoon. 2 moves are G-Max moves, only usable by Gigantamax Pokemon. G-Max One Blow exclusive to Gigantamax Single Strike style Urshifu, and G-Max Snooze exclusive to Gigantamax Grimmsnarl. One move is a Max move, used by Dynamax Pokemon. This move is Max Darkness, which can be used by any Dynamax Pokemon that knows a damaging Dark-type move. For regular attacking moves, we have the physical attack Ceaseless Edge, the signature move of Hisuian Samurott. This move has a power of 65 and 90% accuracy. It will also give the target Splinters for 2 to 4 moves. Splinters is a status condition exclusive to Legends Arceus in which the afflicted Pokemon will take damage every turn. This damage is equivalent to a move with 25 power. The next physical move, False Surrender, an attack that never misses, has 80 power and is the signature move of Morgrem and Grimmsnarl. Fiery Wrath, the special signature move of Galarian Moltres, has a power of 90 and 100% accuracy. This move may also make the opponent flinch. Jawlock, which in Gen 8 only was Choodle and Dreadnought's signature move, is a physical attack with 80 power and 100% accuracy. Jawlock will also prevent both the user and the target from switching out until one of them faints. Lash Out, with 75 power and 100% accuracy, is another physical attack in which the power is doubled if the user's stats were lowered during the same turn. Finally, Wicked Blow is the signature move of single strike style Urshifu. It is a physical move with 75 power, 100% accuracy, and always lands a critical hit. Generation 8 is notable for being the first generation with a Dark-type gym leader. Piers, the gym leader in Spike Myth, uses a team composed of Scrafty, Malamar, Skuntank, and Obstagoon. He eventually retires during the story of Sword and Shield, and is replaced by his sister Marnie, who is also one of your rivals. When you battle her in the Champion Tournament, she has a Liepard, Toxicroak, Scrafty, Morpeko, and Grimmsnarl. Generation 9 adds 13 new Dark-type Pokemon. All of these are technically original Pokemon, but 3 are Paradox Pokemon. For pure Dark-type Pokemon, we got only 2, Maschiff and its evolution Mavostiff. For Pokemon with a primary Dark-type, we got Kingambit, a new evolution for Bisharp, which is Dark Steel, as well as a quartet of legendary Pokemon. The group, known as the Treasures of Ruin, consists of Wo-Chien, which is also Grass-type, Chen-Pao, which is also Ice-type, Tanglu, which is also Ground-type, and Chi-Yu, which is also Fire-type. For Pokemon with a secondary Dark-type, we have the final evolution of the Grass starter, Masquerada, as well as Lokix, a Bug Dark-type Pokemon, and Bombardier, a Flying Dark-type Pokemon. The 3 new Paradox Pokemon includes Amoongus's ancient relative, Brute Bonnet, which is Grass Dark, Hydreigon's future relative, Iron Jugulus, which is Dark Flying, and Mega Salamance's ancient relative, Roaring Moon, a Dragon Dark Pokemon. In Scarlet and Violet, you will battle Starmobiles, which are vehicles used by Team Star's bosses. Starmobiles are powered by Pokemon, specifically controlled by a Revavroom, but the Starmobiles themselves aren't really Pokemon. The second Starmobile is considered to be a Dark-type. Generation 9 added only 4 new Dark-type moves, all of which are attacking moves. Ruination, the only special move, is the signature move of the Treasures of Ruin. This move has 90% accuracy and will cut the target's HP in half. Kingambit's signature move, Kowtow Cleave, has a power of 85 and never misses. Comeuppance is a move with 100% accuracy that does 1.5 times the damage dealt by the last attack used by the opponent. Wicked Torque is the signature move of the second Starmobile. This move has a power of 80 and an accuracy of 100 and has a 10% chance of making the target fall asleep. Generation 9 has 1 Dark-type specialist, Giacomo, the boss of Team Star's Second Squad. When you battle him, in addition to using the Second Starmobile, he will also have a Pawniard. And that's it. That's the history of the Dark-type, from being introduced in Generation 2 all the way until the current generation, Generation 9. Tell me what you think in the comments, leave a like or a dislike, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.